So, ladies and gentlemen, to deliver our sponsor premium welcome address, I'm delighted to welcome onto the stage Bashar Kalani, Region Executive, IBM Middle East. Bashar oversees the IBM business in the Gulf countries and the Levant, working with clients and partners across industries. Prior, he was the business unit executive for IBM's software business in the MENA region. And I am delighted to welcome Bashar Kalani to the stage. Please welcome him.
Thank you very much. Can everyone hear me? Yes? Good, thank you. Good morning. And it's a pleasure to be with you here at the Banking Innovation Summit. 2 weeks ago, I was part of a judging panel for some initiatives to shape the future of Dubai. It is called 10X, and this was launched by His Highness earlier this year. And the aim is no longer for Dubai to be number one. The objective is to be 10 years ahead. And when we were briefed about this initiative that will shape Dubai's future, His Highness was saying, I want you to think of an invisible government. I want you to think of more governance and less government. I think it's appropriate to take this example and see how it applies to us in banking. And maybe during the next 2 days, we should challenge ourselves to think about what it takes not to be number one in our segment, in our sector, or our geography, but to be 10 years ahead. And as bankers, I know we're not talking about the fancy technology and gadgets. We're really trying to talk about economic value. And when we talk about economic value, the normal rules of economics, like supply chain, supply and demand, cost and price, apply to technology and how we use it to create economic value. Let me give you an example. A lot of you have probably seen the movie Hidden Figures, where this was an IBM-sponsored movie about the NASA Apollo mission, sending someone to the moon, and there were African-American ladies that were doing a job of computers. Basically, they were doing arithmetics. And then a machine was brought in to do their job. And of course, this had a tremendous economic impact because machines were able to do arithmetics much better, cheaper, and faster. And of course, when something becomes cheaper and faster, people use it more, and people start to use it to solve other problems. For example, photography has never been an arithmetic problem, but we used to take a chemistry problem and apply arithmetics to it. We did the same to music. We did the same to communications. We did the same to banking. And this is how we created economic value around computers as we know them today. The internet also changed the fundamentals of a lot of our economies. It substantially reduced the cost of digitally distributing goods and content. It reduced the cost of search, and it reduced the cost of communication. And this is what we're living in now for the last 3 decades, which is the internet economy. Today, we live in the world of data and artificial intelligence. And we are looking forward to a bright future that is going to take us to another level, 10x. We've seen the UAE announce the first artificial intelligence minister. We've seen countries like China, the US, the UK, France, and Germany building AI strategies because they understand that by 2030, 15 to 20% of their GDP is going to come from artificial intelligence. So where is the economic value in artificial intelligence? Again, going back to the fundamentals of economics, if something becomes cheaper, we use more of it and we apply it to other problems. When we talk about artificial intelligence, this is predictions. Predictions become cheaper. Machines can do predictions cheaper, better, and without human bias. And because we can predict better, we can make better decisions. When I talk prediction, I mean looking at current data and forecasting a certain outcome. I also use the term classification when I look at a certain image and predict whether it's a benign cancer cell or not. Taking these economics into consideration, you will see that a dramatic change and drop in the cost of predictions will create economic value. We will use more of it because it's cheaper, but we will also apply it to non-traditional prediction problems. For example, we've always known driverless cars. We've seen how we can use actually vehicles within warehouses, but they've been programmed using arithmetics. So we've programmed them if, then. If you get to the first shelf, it's empty, move to the next one. If it's dark, switch on the lights. These are all if-then arithmetics. We changed that problem to a prediction problem by transforming the whole issue into intents. So for example, when you drive a car, you intend to drive forward, backwards, left, or right. And you have an artificial intelligence agent like Watson sitting next to a driver and predicting how the driver will react to each one of these situations. Over time, the prediction level of an AI engine becomes as good or better than the human being. So now that we understand the science of prediction, we're starting to apply it to problems that are normally not prediction problems. So we can have him sit next to a wealth management advisor and understand how he will behave. He can sit next to a trader and understand how he will behave and start to predict similar behaviors. If I talk about Rashid, which is the Dubai government concierge or chatbot, it has about 300 intents, from renewing your driver's license, your residence visa, to anything you want to do in Dubai. Basically, it is trained to mimic human behavior and predict how a human will react in Arabic and English to each one of these 300 different intents. So this is fundamentally changing the way we're looking at things and allowing us to use AI, or the science of prediction, or the science of decision-making, for other problems which traditionally were not supposed to be prediction problems. And this is where economic value is going to come from. This is where the 20-25% incremental GDP is going to come from. Now, we're all working in a digital world where digital transformation is top on our agenda, and we're trying to automate our business flows. And our processes or workflows have many different tasks within them. A lot of these tasks have prediction, like asset valuation, risk prediction, value integration. All these different components are substantial ways to increase the efficiency of our digital transformation. You will see the application of AI in each one of them. And this is when we say electricity, or AI is going to be the new electricity of the 21st century. It is because it's going to affect each and every one of our business processes. Let me talk quickly about how blockchain plays into this as well, because when we talk about business transformation, blockchain is really a transformational technology that will allow us to transform our business processes around a single distributed ledger. It will release and unlock a lot of time and value that is normally trapped into these business processes. If you combine blockchain with AI, you will have a transformative engine around your digital transformation, and this will be the basis for your 10x initiatives. Today, many of us have been on commercial websites where they buy items and get recommendations to buy other items based on these historic data that they have or certain predictions that they've made. Today, the accuracy of these predictions is 3 to 5 to 6%. Imagine with AI, you can actually improve this to 20, 30, 40, 50, 60%. This is a dramatic increase in sales. But when we get to a point like when we have an 80% accuracy, it starts to become very interesting because this is a disruptive change to the whole process. Rather than me shop and ship something, it is probably worth the company to ship something before I shop it. And this is a disruptive way because they will be certain that, or to an 80% certainty that I will consume this service or good before they ship it. The picture will not be complete if I don't talk about blockchain, AI, and quantum computing. Many people think quantum computing is far out in the future. But reality is, if we look at cybercrime and cybersecurity today, 80% of crimes 10 years from now are going to be cybercrimes. Imagine what this means to police stations. Imagine what this means to banking sector. Imagine what this means to our life. 2 months ago, IBM announced that with quantum computing, our 6 digits passwords can be cracked in nanoseconds. This means that fundamentally everything we've built our security infrastructure on is going to be vulnerable in the next 2-3 years. Quantum computing is going to change many other things around algorithms, computing power, and so on, and it's going to hit us much faster than we think. If we look at these technologies and how they disrupt the world around us, it's important for us to understand what this means for us, how we can use them to transform our business, and to really think of ways to put us 10 years ahead, rather than just looking at small, incremental improvements as we go on. With this, I want to thank you for your time and attention. I wish you an enjoyable conference, and I'm sure you're going to have an interesting discussion. Thank you very much.
Many thanks indeed.